In this video, we will talk about how to create groups inside of Mosaic Designer. Groups are one of the core ways that you apply effects to all of your fixtures within timelines in Mosaic. You'll notice in the left-hand side of the screen, I already have a number of groups created. Anytime you add a fixture to a layout in Designer, it will automatically make a group for that type of fixture. So in this show file, I already have LED RGB 8-bit and fountain jets added in. These were created for me as I placed the fixtures and will always be there for my use. Above that is a supergroup called All Fixtures. All Fixtures contains these two other groups and gives me a way to very quickly modify everything about all of those fixtures. If I don't want to see any of these other groups, I can minimize them and they'll stay out of my way. Underneath this is where all of the groups that I create are going to live. To create a group, I simply select a group of fixtures and click the Add Group button on the side over here. I'm then prompted to give the group a name and a number. For a name, I'll simply say something descriptive, like in this case, left trees. For number, I'll leave that alone and let it automatically assign. But if I want it to be a very specific number, I could enter that at this point. Like fixture numbers, group numbers need to be unique, so there can only ever be one group 1. If I expand this group, I will see all of my fixtures in their numerical order. Group order matters when we start applying effects back. If I simply select a group of fixtures, it will use the fixture order as its default order. However, if I'm more specific with my selection, it will follow what I did. So if I come over here and select a single fixture, then hold my Control key and select multiple fixtures in an order, and use that to create a group, it will create that group in the order in which I selected. Notice it's not numerical anymore. This goes from 21 to 20 to 22 to 23. I can now select a fixture and drag it to change its order within a group. This doesn't affect anything on the actual layout, just within this group. This is a very powerful feature when you're creating your groups because it will influence how effects are played back on them later. We've added a couple of tools to help with selection. If you right-click, you can change between normal, additive, subtractive, and invert selection mode. By default, you're in normal, which means when I select something and then select something else, it will change from selection to selection. If I right-click and change to additive selection, I can now continue selecting and it will add to the previous selection. Like additive, subtractive does the same thing but opposite. Anything I select now will be deselected from my selection. And I can do all this without holding any keyboard keys down. If I go to invert and select, it will switch what was previously selected to what is now selected, excluding anything that was previously selected. As you're working within Mosaic, you'll be creating a number of groups and matrices, which we'll talk about later. And these will help you build all of your effects within your show.